Hello everyone, Brownie Tyson here with a chunk house design. As you can see, I've laid out the chunks right here. And today we're going for a medieval build. Yes, that's right. I'm going for quite a high build today, and some details. I'm thinking a farm in the middle, nice pathway leading up to the house. But first of all, before you do that, you have to actually lay out the actual house itself. That's what I'm doing right now. I was debating about whether or not to go up until the edge or not, and in the end I decided not to because I might have a little overhang later. I don't know yet, and having the extra block to play with makes it possible to have that. And honestly, losing one block doesn't really matter all that much. As for the windows, I was debating on how to do them, and I thought that a few of them are too large, so what I did was I used this trick with the stairs, that, as you can see, that actually make the windows a bit smaller. It doesn't really matter if you put actual glass panes in them or not, because mobs won't be able to spawn in, go through them anyway, and honestly I think this looks better in some building. Especially it works with medieval builds because it makes sense for them to have smaller windows because of the way they build buildings. As for the second floor, I decided to go 2 blocks out, to get my 1 block out, sorry, to give myself some extra space and to also add something to the building. This was also something that was done in medieval buildings, so it makes sense. Oftentimes people didn't have a lot of land to build on, so what they did is they built their first floor on these small plot of land, and then they extended their second floor, third floor, to have more space there. I'm not sure how I'm doing the roof right now, so I'm waiting with that a bit and then first of all doing the walls. Sometimes when you don't know how to do something specifically, it's better to just start on something else and then wait until the creativity comes. Here I am, I'm adding some detailing. I like using stairs for detailing because I think it adds some depth to the building. And back in the day I would also replace full blocks with stairs, but I don't tend to do that anymore. Okay, so going to the roof, I'm deciding on how to build it, and I think that generally roofs look better when you have multiple floors to them, or like multiple stages to them. So that's what I'm doing. I'm moving some blocks to add 2 layers of roof because that'll add more depth and more interesting features to the building. I'm still deciding on how to do it, because you can lay out your roof in different ways. It's always important to have some overhang so that your roof doesn't stop on the same block, because it doesn't make sense in real life. That's not the case either. If you look at the roofs, they go a bit further generally as well, and it does look better. Now, as for this side, I'm not sure how to do it yet, but I want to have a high roof and not the same roof design, and I kind of want it to slope inwards, as you can see. I'm quite happy with the design that I choose, and I'm actually quite proud of the roof itself. But yeah, it's way easier to build roofs in creative than it is in survival. If you build roofs in survival, it can be a huge pain to do so, as you can't really fly around and look at it, how it looks. And I think that's the hardest part about building in survival, is not being able to look at your building from afar and seeing how it looks. So I realized that this beam doesn't really fit with the other beam, so I decided to move it over 1 block. Sometimes it's best to change your design afterwards if you see that it doesn't really work, because when I planned it out I didn't think about having this roof, I just kind of winged it, and that's why it's the way it is. I'm deciding on building a balcony here, because I want some more depth to the building. I really want a nice front, and I'm imagining that this is quite a large house anyway. Probably someone rich living here, and they might be able to afford a balcony. I'm especially imagining this as a city build, not really a standalone cottage or something like that. Now, as for the path, it's quite easy to mess up paths, I think, because you could just build something like this. That's stone, and I mean it functions as a path, but it looks really bad. What you want to do is you want to mix in some blocks, for example these path blocks, and then you want to add some stone and some gravel to it to liven up the place. If people walk on the same path for 10 years, it will look more down. Now, grass is also a really good texture adder, I'd say. It really adds some depth to it, makes the building blend in with the house itself, and then the flowers add some color. Same for the farm, really. It adds some color, it adds some story to the building. Here you can see that I'm adding a path to the farm building because it makes sense that people will walk over there. And same here, it makes sense that people walk from the back gate to the front house, meaning that there will be a bit of worn down path blocks right there. What I'm deciding on here is how to build a little shack overhang to store some hay bales. There's a farm, but there's not really a storage space. Well, there will be a storage space in the future, but not at the moment. And I figured that it would make sense to have it, and also it's a nice way to break up the large facade here. Because I didn't really have an idea on how to do that, so that's what I'm doing right now, and I'll be adding some hay bales later as well. So things like this, like, they don't really serve a function, but they make the build look 10 times better, 100 times better. As you can see, like, adding the exterior features, the shack, the farm, the path, the grass, it adds a lot to the building. Of course, can't forget the glass. I've decided on light gray glass, so it fits in with the palette of the building. It's a bit darker and a bit more mellow. I think that works better for the building itself. As for the interior, I'm not doing a whole lot of interior design because I want to leave that up to you guys if you ever decide to build this yourself. What I'm doing is I'm starting with the floor itself, because that tells me then how much space I have, what I have to work with. I'm building this out of stone brick because honestly it makes sense that these people would only have access to stone brick and not fancy woods or something like that. Most people would cover up that big hole over there, but I decided not to because I've actually been to a few medieval houses, like museums and stuff like that, and I've noticed that they don't tend to close their windows like that. Instead, what they do is add some storage space up there, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm still choosing the right block. In the end, I decided on iron gates. It does not really realistic for them to have iron, but it's the block that makes most sense to have. And I'm adding some hay, but in real life they'd be adding, like, putting some sheets up there, maybe some foods. You can't really do that, so I think hay is fine. As for the stairs going up, first I was debating doing some brick scale, but then I thought, no, this is way too grayish, so in the end I do go for dark oak stairs. I think that looks better. Now, what I've also noticed in these houses is that when people don't have a lot of space, some people put their bed under the stairs, and that's what I'm doing right here. They added some sheets to the sides, and then they close the sheets, go to sleep, and then wake up again. So that's why I'm adding these grey wools, which basically function as sheets. Again, for the floor I'm going for stone bricks with a mix of stone and andesite. I'm choosing a mix right here because it makes sense that this place is a bit more run down and a bit more dirty because people live here, sleep here, work here. You know, a lot of people, well, so like they have a large second floor as well. They'd be able to sleep and work there as well, but I didn't really build a function into that yet. As for the chimney, I was debating on where to put it. In the end, I decided on this spot right here. I think that looks fine. I'm gonna add some cauldrons. I was debating, do I use netherrack, but then I realized we've got blocks right now. In the end, I decided on using a mix of magma blocks and campfires, because we want the smoke trails, and obviously also add the campfires on top the roof, so it, some smoke goes out. So I'm building the actual chimney right here, and then I decided that it's a bit one too far, and honestly, like in builds you can play with it like that. You could just move out the chimney once, like doesn't really matter. The chimney doesn't have to be straight above the actual fireplace, as long as it kind of makes sense like this. Like I'm playing with how it works again, moving blocks and changing the design as I go. As you can see here, I'm debating on how do I do it. Do I campfires? Do I add? I'm playing around with it a bit, but then I see that they kind of get stuck under the cauldron. And I don't really like that. I wish I was able to see the fire and then smoke above it, but that's not really possible. So in the end, I decided on one magma block and one campfire. Going on top, I finished this build and I had some hay bales with a campfire as well, to create the effect of smoke coming out. I think it looks quite nice, and it's really something that adds to it, because back in the day we had to use glass blocks that flew out of the build, and I honestly, looking back, that did not look good at all. So I'm looking at the build right now, and I realized I haven't done the backside, so that's what I'm doing right now. And it was quite hard to actually do the backsides. In the end, I decided on putting a crossbeam about in the middle and some windows. I think it functions, but it could be better. Then again, I was thinking, well, this is a city build. You could just make an alleyway on the back of here, so that people don't really see the backside all that much. Honestly, I think it'll look fine. So in the end, I decided on having one large window and like two small ones. The wood is in front of the one window, but honestly, that doesn't really matter all that much. Now what I'm doing is I'm putting the finishing touches in. I'm removing some of the stone bricks with cracked stone and normal stone and some andesite as well. I'm doing this to give some life to the building, give some history, make it seem older than it is. I'm especially adding a lot of cracked stone and andesite on the fireplace, because to me it makes sense that those stones are a bit all more cracked and a bit more dirty from the fireplace itself. Okay, here you go. This is my one chunk house design. It's a medieval build. Thank you for watching.